listening to The Sizzle.
You know who it is. You know what it is. It's The Sizzle in the building. Listen, Jay, we've got a lot hot to talk about, but the hottest thing to talk about right now is the NFL. What's going on in the NFL? Week 6. Week 6 was a clunker, stumper, show shopper. I don't know how you want to call it, because it started off kind of bad and then it got better as it went on. But let's start off. We talk about one of the games that we saw that really had a weird twist to it. So I want to get your take on what you saw from Bears Commanders. What was that game like? What was that vibe like to you? Because I know how I saw it, but maybe I saw it a little bit different. So tell me what you thought.
You saw one team that couldn't win a football game and one team didn't know how to win a football game. Mm-hmm. You know, the Bears are a team that don't know how to win a football game. They haven't figured it out yet. And they're going to continue to struggle as long as they have a quarterback who can't hit a wide open NFL wide receiver. You know, and until he can do that on a regular basis. Now, guys miss a lot of throws, don't get me wrong. Tom Brady missed throws. Aaron Rodgers missed throws. But that's seldom that they miss wide open throws. And these are the problems that Justin Fields has, is that he can't put the ball on people when he needs to put the ball on people. The other thing he has, the biggest problem is he needs a new iPhone watch or something, or the Google Pixel 12 watch or something to tell him to get rid of the football in under 3 seconds, because he holds on to the football longer than any other quarterback in the NFL by almost a half a second. It's ridiculous how long he's holding on to the football. No team is going to be successful like that. So until he figures out how he can get the ball out in his first read, the Bears are going to be destined to be losing ball games like this. So this was another game they should have won. The Bears should have won these last 2 ball games, but they get down to the red zone and Fields can't figure out to pull the trigger and throw the ball in the end zone. Now, he can look great when he wants to. He has all the physical abilities, but he just doesn't trust his arm to put the ball in where it needs to go. And until that happens, you're in Bears hell right now. You're in mid-level hell. And, he's got to prove himself this year. If not, then you have him into the 3rd year. And if he doesn't prove himself this year, you're definitely probably looking for another quarterback after the 3rd year. So now we're putting ourselves another 3 or 4 years behind. So it's going to be Bears, Cubs, Sox. As you know, go Chicago Fire.
You know, one of the things that is so amazing is, even though that was a 12-7 game, it seemed like the distance between those two were far greater. You had a young man that came back off injury. Now, he played the week before, but he'd been shot in the leg. He was one of your best rushers. You had people who hadn't been shot in the leg, and they were horrible. You had a returner who took the ball off his helmet. You had receivers dropping balls. But to your point, one of the things that has been talked about with Justin Fields is around the league average is about 4.2 seconds for a sack in the league. You should be getting that ball out. But he holds on to the ball about 5 seconds, maybe a second too long. And I don't understand why he can't make that throw. Even in throwing, I know guys are covered. And I keep hearing this. He doesn't trust. Guys aren't open. He hasn't gotten them open. But there is something called throwing a receiver open. So, Jay, how did the Bears help him to get that ball out of his hand in a short amount of time to ensure at least that he's not getting killed in the backfield?
Make it work half the field. You know, they try to make him get back to his 3rd progression, and I just say take that one out the window. He needs to read 1 to 2. If it ain't there, take off and run. I mean, get the ball out. That's all. I think that's all he's able really to do, to tell you the truth. Because I think he's sitting trying to wait for the backside to come open, but he doesn't have that clock in his head to get the ball off. Plus, he needs a window. I mean, don't get me wrong, he has all the tools, and he can make all the NFL throws. He just doesn't make the NFL throws on time. Mm-hmm. And these cornerbacks out here, if you don't make these throws on time, you saw what the Eagles were able to do against the Cowboys, slaying them, look like world beaters. Mm-hmm. That if you don't get the ball out on time, these guys are going to cover. So, it was just one of those games where you know the Bears, it's going to be a long season. The Commanders are the Commanders. I mean, what do you expect from them? At least the Bears should have won that football game. But, I mean, we're going to be talking about the same thing every year with the Bears. Because I mean, not every year, but every game with the Bears, because I just don't see a big turnaround coming for them.
It's funny. I see the same thing when you look at the Ravens. Ravens played the Giants, and the Giants came out with a 24-20 victory. But you saw that same thing creep up with Lamar Jackson. Held on to the ball a little bit too long, fumbled, forced fumble at the end of the game, which killed a drive that maybe there could have been a scoring drive for them to win the game. But you're asking yourself now with these quarterbacks, how is it that their internal clock, how are they internalizing and getting these balls out? Now, one of the things we did see was we saw that Green Bay just got slapped around by the Jets. I was not ready for that. I didn't know that that could happen in such a short amount of time, but they put the thump down on them. But there were two games in particular. There was the Patriots at the Browns, which, you don't have your starting quarterback for either team. You didn't think that a Zappy could come in and do it, but they went in and put 38 up on the Browns, who had been playing quite well, had a good defense. The Browns could only muster 15. So if they can put 38 on a good Browns team, a good defensive Browns team, my God, from Monday night, what could the Patriots do to the Bears?
Well, I mean, the Bears' defense is if they're not put in really bad field positions, they will come and play you tough. The problem is with the Bears is that it's all about possessing the football. So we're looking at a guy, can we get 6, 7, 8 play drives out of Justin Fields on a regular basis? If we do that, then we limit how many times the Patriots can touch the football. But if he's 3 and out and missing, wide open players for first downs, if he's doing that, then it's going to be a long night. And, Bill Belichick is going to scheme for him. So there will be no rolling out for him. He will have to throw the ball from the pocket.
Yeah, there's a lot that's going to happen for Justin this year. A lot of coaches are saying that it's not all on the offensive line, that Justin is holding the ball, which is causing some other things to happen. But there were two games where the offensive line stepped up and did their job. And, Jay, we got to talk about one of the two games, because one of those two games featured your loved brother, your football compadre, that is Thomas Brady. And Tom Brady did not leave his family and his wife to get slapped around by the Steelers and Mitchell Trubisky. Yes, I said it, everybody. Mitchell Trubisky put the slap. Well, okay, he didn't actually put the slap down on him. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't, okay. So the Buccaneers lost. It was 18-20. Mitchell Trubisky came in, did his job, got the Steelers a score. But what is happening right now in Tampa Bay? Is it coaching? Is it players? I've heard a lot. What's going on right now with TB12?
Well, it's like anything. When you're on top, people come after you. Everybody's on scholarship. Mm-hmm. So they're going to figure out what his players can do well, and they're going to take that away from him. So it's going to take a while for Tom Brady to figure out what's the counter, move to the counter. Mm-hmm. If they can stay in contention, they will be ready for the postseason. I mean, we're almost, getting nearly almost halfway through the season, getting close to it. So teams are going to start gelling a little bit. You're going to have guys who are going to start playing a lot better. You look Aaron Rodgers up there in Green Bay. They brought in, I think, 5 different wide receivers to see if they can get some help. So everybody's trying to figure it out. I think you're starting to see the old quarterbacks knowing that this is going to be their last run here the next year or two. And so they're going to try to figure out how to make their young wide receivers, these no-name wide receivers, become named wide receivers in the postseason, because that's what we're really gunning for with these older quarterbacks, is what they can do in the postseason. So we'll see. You saw Brady, you see Wilson looking pedestrian. You see Aaron Rodgers without Javonte Adams. Oops, on that one. You see Matty Ice, how he's looking. So, it's just that new guard, the quarterback is coming in. The old guard is slowly melting away into the sunset. But I think you're going to see a little push from Aaron and from Rodgers and Brady at the end if their teams are still in contention.
Well, we're going to talk about a new era of football with new quarterbacks in a little bit. But before we get there, I mean, it was a decent week. It wasn't anything great. I think maybe one of the best games that you saw was Bills Chiefs. You saw a really hard nosed game. You see how good the Bills truly are and the step they've taken. Now that's just regular season. It all comes down to the postseason, and the Bills could get knocked out again. You also saw the only undefeated team go in, slap up America's team. What they're doing it without their starting quarterback, but the Eagles look really good. But we got to talk about week 6 is being closed. Now it's week 7. Now it's for all the marbles. In fact, it's for no marbles. Actually, week 7 pretty much looks bad on the schedule. But okay, we're going to start off week 7 with Saints Cardinals. You've got a Cardinals team that is truly underperforming right now. You've got a Saints team that's trying to hold on so Jameis Winston can get back healthy. Is this thing going to turn around in Arizona, or are we seeing a downward spiral for this Cardinals team?
Yeah, well, until you see Murray actually get a chance to get outside the pocket and use his legs, this is what it's going to be. These young quarterbacks, these scramblers, they're going to make these guys sit in the pocket and throw the football. All these guys, the only one who's really been able to get away with it is Patrick Mahomes. Just because, for whatever reasons, he can get the ball out quick. I think that's his baseball background. Even though Murray has a similar type of background, but you don't see him making the type of throws that Patrick Mahomes makes. And Mahomes gets the ball out of his hands. He utilizes his tight ends. One thing you see these young quarterbacks, the Murrays of the world, the Justin Fields of the world, they do not utilize their tight ends to get rid of the football until they start figuring out how to throw the ball to the tight end. Their end is going to be tight because they're going to have defensive linemen laying on top of it on a regular basis. So I just think Kyler Murray is a guy, wants to. Didn't he get signed for some money here not too long ago?
Oh yeah, he just got big paper. He got big paper. He got big time money.
Yeah, I think once you start getting that big money too, you're not hungry anymore. What do you got to prove? It's a rare animal that has food in a plate in front of him and he still goes out and hunts. You know what I'm saying? It's a rare animal that does that. Most animals, they got the food sitting right down in front of them. They're just going to sit there and eat it, especially if it just shows up in the bowl every day. But it's a rare one that just leaves the food and goes out there because matter of fact, they just want to kill. This is what separates the great quarterbacks from the average quarterback because they want to go out and kill every day. So until Kyler Murray wants to go out and kill every day, until Justin Fields wants to go out there and kill every day, they want to win games more than they want to breathe. So they get to that point, so they're ready to leave their wives at home with the children, even though she's a great Brazil model. Until they get tired of Danica Patrick, until they go sit out on a mountain somewhere and smoke weed and get their hair cut funny, until they do something like that, where they're just trying to get in complete zen, until they just dedicate their entire lives to football, you're going to see these situations going on like this because, a lot of times the money makes a big difference. So like I said, it's a rare animal that just wants to go out and kill.
We didn't talk about it a lot from week 6, but one of the last games of week 6 was the doorstop game between the Broncos and the Chargers. Very low scoring affair. Broncos lost 19-16 in that game. But the bigger question, when you say go out, sell all out, you've got a Broncos team that's on bye this coming week, but there's something wrong with Russell Wilson. I don't know what it is. It's evident. We've seen it as time has elapsed, and we've now seen this for 6 games. We've got a good game sample of something going on. I don't know if it's leaving that environment he had in Seattle, if it's moving into another environment, but he's obviously missing something. Something's not happened. Maybe he's injured, maybe something else. Jay, what is it that you see going on right now with Russell Wilson?
He's not injured. Let's put that aside. He's not injured. Mm-hmm. Yeah, his ego is bruised because he really believes he's that guy. He's put him in the same sentence as Rodgers and Brady, and he believes he's that guy. But he's not that guy. Mm-hmm. Russell Wilson is a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. Is he a Hall of Fame quarterback? And then, well, you know what? He might be playing his way out of the Hall of Fame right now. The issue is that he's never been a warm, personal type of guy. He's never been the guy, even though he tries to put on airs. It was that Pete Carroll thing that was going on up there that was keeping a team intact. It was what was the quarterback's name? I can't think of his name right now.
Which one?
From the Legion of Doom.
Sherman.
Yeah,
Richard Sherman.
You had those guys who were team leaders for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know who is the team leader for the Broncos? Is Russell Wilson, and I don't think he's that guy. And so you're starting to find out that he's not that guy. He's not, he's a great human being, I think, and all that type of stuff. But is he a real leader of men? You see the team around him not really responding. You even have some guys, talking a little trash about him now, where that would have never happened if he'd still been the Seahawks. So you wonder if the Seahawks knew and saw what was coming and they got a chance to move him. They did.
The funny part is I hear a lot of people talk about what would have happened, and there would be no Justin Fields if the Bears gotten Russell Wilson. But I don't see that there would have been any difference in what you see with the Bears now. What would have been with Russell Wilson?
No, there would have been a difference because Russell Wilson will make those throws.
Okay.
Russell Wilson will put the ball on people. The problem is right now he doesn't have the weapons around him like he needs, and he has all of it on his shoulders right now. I think Justin Fields, I think this Bears offensive line isn't as bad as people are saying that it is, because if they would get the ball out in regular NFL time, these sacks, these touches that they're getting on him wouldn't be that way. I think Russell Wilson is a NFL quarterback who can get the ball out on time, who can read coverages, who knows where the ball's supposed to go pre-snap. So I think you would have saw a better Bears team. The Bears would have been better with Russell Wilson than would have been with Justin Fields.
Even with the receiving options that they very lack and sorely lack in Chicago, you still think he would have made an impact with this team as presently constructed, and take out Justin Fields. You think that they would be in a better position with Russ now than they would be with Justin Fields growing up?
Because I think Russell Wilson is an NFL quarterback.
Okay.
But we're still trying to figure out if Justin Fields is an NFL quarterback. He has the tools, but we're still trying to figure that out. There's no doubt that Russell Wilson is an NFL quarterback. He's just in the twilight of his career right now. And so the thing that made Russell Wilson dangerous was he was able to break the pocket and keep his eyes downfield. Now he's not able to break the pocket and escape like he used to, and he just doesn't have the cannon that he once used to have. So, but he still has a strong enough arm. But I think with the right type of offense around him that the Bears are trying to run, I believe in what the Bears are trying to do. The problem is they just got a quarterback who can't do it. Mm-hmm. You saw what happened with Trevor Siemian when he came in. Was that the guy who came in? You saw what the Bears offense looked like when he came in. All of a sudden, that thing got revved up and the engines start moving. Siemian's got 5 years in the NFL as a backup, but guess what he could do? He could sit in the pocket and deliver the football. Mm-hmm. So we saw that Bears offense looked a lot better when Trevor Siemian was running it. Could they win with Siemian there? No, well, he's a statue. Eventually, somebody's going to come knock the statue over. Mm-hmm. He can't, the reason why they like Fields back there, because he can take something and turn it into nothing because of his legs. Trevor Siemian is not going to be able to do that. But if you want to put the guys back there who can make the NFL throws, I'll take Trevor Siemian over Justin Fields making the throws under pressure. I'm sure Justin Fields looked great in a pair of shorts. And what's that, Thursday with the no pad day?
Mm-hmm.
And he's throwing in the light 7-7. I'm sure he's hitting everything. I'm not saying he's a bad kid or anything else like that. I just think when the game starts, he takes that extra half a beat, and that's all you need in the NFL to get sacked.
Yeah, that opens up, and that leads us right into the new topic of asking about the new quarterback, that new era, that new wave of NFL quarterbacks right now. You see it in Buffalo. You've seen it in Kansas City. Getting a glimpse of it in the Dolphins, if they can keep Tua alive. But funny enough, we're talking about Justin Fields because we still haven't seen yet if he has the NFL chops. I believe he can do it. I believe given time, he'll learn how to do it. But the question is he going to process fast enough to do it? But is there a new era? You talked about it earlier, Jay. You talked about it with Brady. You talked about it with Aaron Rodgers. You talked about it even thinking about Phillip Rivers. You're looking at some of the older guys who've been in the league a while. Some of the old guys are gone. And now that we're transitioning into a new era with Russell Wilson looking like old man Russ, is this new era, are these guys ready, or is this an era that's still kind of in flux or in transition?
These quarterbacks today are the offspring of RG3 when they start running at RPO and you started changing your offenses to fit in players like Lamar Jackson. And all of a sudden you start getting these hybrids, these guys who can run and who can throw. It's just a different NFL right now, especially when you can't touch the quarterback. I mean, you can't touch him at all. Literally, you can't even land on him if you tackle him. So at this point in time, these guys know, for the most part, they're not going to get tattooed back there. And so they don't mind holding on to the football a little bit longer because they know they're not going to get laid out. It's different back in the day when you knew at that 3-second mark the pain was coming. It's not so much that way as now. So these guys are a lot more mobile, quick. You see even some of these guys being very offensive, running the football. I still don't think a quarterback in the NFL is going to last long. Keep running the football in this league. Somebody's going to blast them. But yeah, it's a new breed of quarterback. These guys have bigger cannons, and they're hyper aggressive getting the ball down the field because that's how they're being taught now. You look at these high school teams. These guys throwing for astronomical yardage in the high school game. Now, it used to be 15, 20 years ago, you'd have 1 or 2 quarterbacks throwing for big mountain. Now these guys throw for astronomical yardage. Used to be teams in high school, if you ran the football well, you were going to win it. But it's not that like that now. You got to drop, 25, 35 points on these high school games to win them. So you got guys who are learning from a very early age to put the ball downfield. And to me, this is the Steph Curry effect in NFL. Was that these new hybrid guys who can throw it a long distance, who look to hit the home run, and they don't really take the check downs like we want them to do. Old school football wants you to take that check down on a regular basis and move the yardstick. But this new NFL is like, let's put points up on the board, because you're going to need probably in any NFL game, you're going to need probably 30 points to win it. And old brand of football can't put up just taking field goals and moving the chains like the Bears do. That's not enough to win football games.
Now that we look at everything in its entirety, there was a big college weekend. One of the powerhouses got knocked off. I'm not sure. I can't remember the stats right off the top of my head, but Nick Saban has not lost that much at Alabama. But he ran into a buzzsaw in Tennessee, and there's a lot of talk about the Alabama quarterback and, if the Bears get the first pick, he would be a good one since this isn't the new administration. Justin Fields in their guy. But my point would be that you would get pretty much the same thing if you can't get him to throw the ball on time and do the things that he needs to do. But are we at a point now, Jay, with some of the younger quarterbacks where we're assessing too soon or not giving them enough time to mature in the league to see if they learn how to get it, like the Trevor Siemian that you just talked about, who's been in the league now 5, 6, 7 years? Do these young quarterbacks need more time to mature to blossom into being an NFL-ready quarterback?
Well, they definitely need more time, but social media is instant. And so now you have instant fandom that wants instant wins. And so you see the ownership is responding to that. And so now these windows are a lot tighter now. It used to be a time, quarterbacks could sit behind another quarterback 6, 7, 8 seasons. Like the Young sat behind Montana all those years. Yeah. So Brett Favre sitting behind certain quarterbacks for a period of time. So so you had guys sitting, but It's not like that now. If you're a first, second round pick in the NFL, it's because you're on a bad team. So you're going to get thrown into the fire right away because you came in as a savior. But none of these guys really are the savior. I mean, look at guys still struggling. Trevor Lawrence is still doing okay. Bird's looking pretty good. But it takes a while, even the great ones, even, Tua, I never really thought was going to be a great NFL quarterback, but he's a tough kid who gets out here, keeps slinging it around. But it's just these guys are expected because they're going to get paid the big money. Mm-hmm. Then now you got the NIL going on. You got the transfer portals, all this stuff started going on. So now the Alabamas and the Clemsons are in trouble now because why should I go sit third string at Alabama? I can go over here to San Diego State and start. Mm-hmm. You start seeing what's going down to Jackson State. You start seeing 5- and 4-star recruits starting to go down there. Could a HBCU actually contend on the same playing field as a power D1 school? Is that a possibility? Well, if they get the offensive linemen, they probably could. Mm-hmm. I think you can get the corners and the wide receivers down there. I mean, you look at Shedeur Sanders, is he really a Heisman candidate, or is it just because he's playing against inferior talent with superior talent? I would say it's the latter, that he's playing with superior talent, he's playing against inferior talent. I think if you take Shedeur Sanders, you put him with Clemson, or you put him with somebody like that, he's probably in the third string, or even if he makes the depth chart. I don't know if he's going to be. I don't think he's going to translate into the NFL. But you see these new breed of quarterback coming out, and it's all about pushing the ball downfield. It's going to continue to be like that, and we're going to get these. I'm getting ready to say Sega Genesis. I'm really aging myself. You're going to get these PlayStation and Xbox numbers. Up when they play 5-minute quarters and guys win 50-45, that's what you're going to start seeing. Nobody plays defense.
Well, it could be a Sega Genesis player. I mean, you could play it like that because some of these kids are amazingly ridiculous in the way that they play. As you said, they don't take the check downs. They don't scan the field. They don't throw receivers open. It's either the big play or it's no play, or you've got, again, a whole generation of them who can take off and dip on you. But very few are really good at it. You see a Bills quarterback that's good at it, and now you see Mitchell Trubisky, who pretty much just runs to stay alive. I think that's his thing is, I'll move because I don't want to be killed. And now you have Tua, who just gets killed every game. I mean, he's just
it's tough out there.
Yeah, he's getting wrapped up, clapped up. I really feel bad for Tua, and I don't know if the protocols are helping him right now. But Miami's got something that's going on there. They just need to get that quarterback situation, get him the protection he needs, and Miami could be a very, very dangerous team going forward. But then we say that about any team with a young quarterback. You got a kid like Zappy now who's come in. He was the leader in points or yardage somewhere in college, and now he's come in and won a game, put up numbers, and probably projected out maybe better than Mac Jones. So you got a list of young guys who are coming in, and you got a list of guys who are coming in from college, maybe one of your better crops of NFL players or NFL quarterbacks coming in. So we'll have to keep our eye on it and really watch what goes on with Justin Fields, because I'm not sure. I don't know how much time Justin has. I don't know if it's going to be long. I don't know if it's going to be great. But I do know one thing, Jay, and I know one thing for sure, that there is a new era. There's a new year coming. There's a new wave coming right now, but it's not to the NFL. No, my friend. The new wave is pretty much the old wave, but it feels new because it's a new season. Everything's new about it. It's going to be shiny and glossy, even though, some coaches are gone, some teams are better, some are not. So, Jay Kevin, are you ready for the NBA? Is there a way you say that? Like, I know you say, are you ready for football? Is there a way to say, are you ready for NBA?
No. Yeah, it's just, are you ready for Steph Curry? Are you ready for a better Warriors team?
Okay. All right. So let's start there. Let's start. NBA season starts. You got four teams out there really putting their stamp down. You've got an opening game with Boston and Philly. Boston looking as to be the Eastern Conference champ already. Philly doing what Philly does, which is not a lot. And then you've got Golden State and LA. And I'm not talking about the Clippers. I'm talking about the LA Lakers who can hold their own.
You talk about the Clippers.
Oh, no. I'm talking about the Lakers. I'm talking about the LeBrons and the new LeBron shoes. I'm talking about LeBron sauce. You got Patrick Beverly. You got
Who's your third best?
Anthony Davis.
Patrick Beverly's the third best player. That says it all.
Man, I don't understand how everybody keeps saying this is a championship team, but okay. I'll go along with you.
Well, Westbrook is not the third best player of that team. Patrick Beverly is.
So what do you do with a Russell Westbrook at this point? Where can you put him?
You hopefully don't dribble the ball off his leg too often. I think you bring Russell off the bench. That's what I think you do.
Okay, so you make him the head of that second unit.
Control him. I think you can control him better off the bench than you do anywhere else because if he comes in, he's ball dominant.
Okay,
he wants the ball, and AD needs the basketball more than LeBron does.
Okay,
so they're gonna have to give the ball to AD and let AD go to work. LeBron's got to pick himself off the trash and get his when he wants to. And you need a guy who's going to be serving the ball up down low because that's where all they're up. But I don't think between LeBron and AD that there's going to be enough offense there for the Lakers to win because the Lakers have no outside shooting. I mean, their best shooter, I think, is Patrick Beverly. Who's the other kid?
Kendrick Nunn probably is their better three-point shooter.
Okay. Yeah, that says that in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about an undersized point guard.
Westbrook is no threat from outside. Mm-hmm. So, what? If LeBron going to get 35, AD gets 35, to put you at 70. You need 120 to win this other league. So now where you getting 50 more points from?
Mm-hmm.
Not every night. Where you getting 50 more? You ain't getting it from Beverly. You ain't getting it from Westbrook. Not every night.
Right. I heard something that was interesting, and you tell me what you think about it. Not Patrick. That would be funny. I was going to say Patrick Finley, but it wasn't Patrick Finley because we're not talking about football. So Charles Barkley, he made a statement that for the Warriors, the need for them is going to be from Kuminga. It's going to be from Poole. It's going to be from Wiseman. It's going to be from their role players, not so much their starters. But you need the ancillary players to come up. And to that point, I would agree with Chuck. If the Warriors are to repeat, what's the key, Jay, for them to get that team back to where they were last year?
So, okay, the starters are those four guys you just talked about because they're going to log a boatload of minutes. Your openers and your closers are Klay Thompson and Draymond Green and whoever else they're running out there right there, Wiseman. But your Pools and all those guys, those are the guys. Those are your heavy minute guys. Those are the guys who have to come in and play for long stints now because you have an aging Warriors team. Draymond got gray hair. Steph Curry finally got a full beard. And then Clay might have actually took the headband off. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he did.
So those guys are all aging. They can't log the minutes that they used to log. So the question is now, the only way they're going to get back to the championship, they're fresh and ready to go. They can't get back injured. Yeah. So all those guys, Kuminga and all those guys are going to have to play heavy minutes for the Warriors early and play really well for them to be down. They do, then the Warriors are going to be dominant because Wiseman is no joke. And then you also got to remember, too, you got Wiggins, who is a lottery pick, who just decided to wake up. And, hey, you know what? I forgot I was a lottery pick. And so now they have a lottery pick on their team. You got Wiseman, who's one of the top young centers on the squad. You got Poole, who got paid big money. Any three of those guys could probably go somewhere and probably start on other NBA basketball teams, but they'll be basically playing behind this starting rotation at the Warriors got going. The Warriors going to be real dangerous this year. They can stay away and be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't have much to worry about in the West. The Lakers ain't going to do too much. The team that could be tough are the Pelicans if Zion can stay healthy. I think you look at Ja. I just think Ja's too herky-jerky. I just think Ja can't do it on his own. And and then the only teams you're really concerned about coming out the East are the Celtics and the Clippers. The Celtics and the Clippers. They're about the only two teams you worry about in the East. So.
Now, the Clippers are in the West. I mean, you have completely left out the Suns, the Mavs. You've left out.
They play like a team in the East. That's what I meant.
Oh my goodness. So okay, you're not even looking at the Mavericks. So you're just discounting.
Absolutely not.
Luka Magic.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Nope.
What about Phoenix Magic?
Denver, no. Denver, no. Denver, no.
Denver, no. I mean, come on. I mean, okay. The other LA team, the Clippers. You're saying Clippers, no? You got a fresh George.
Are the Clippers in the West? Are the Clippers in the West or they're in the East?
Yes, they're in the West. They're in the West.
Oh, they should be in the East, though. That's what I was trying to say. Clippers, no. I mean, the Clippers have a chance if Kawhi comes back strong. Paul George. I mean, they're Paul George is probably top 15 player in the NBA. Mm-hmm. So if they can come back and stay healthy, they could be real dangerous. Mm-hmm. Healthy is I got the air quotes going right now. But I mean, if you look at teams out of the East, I mean, you got Milwaukee again,
right? And
who else?
Well, you threw it out there. The Pels. One of the things with the Pels that's so interesting to me was that they built that team around Zion without even Zion being there. They made a lot of moves, got a lot of pieces. In fact, they had a lot to say about their general manager, but David Griffin did a good job of acquiring talent and putting it together. But when it comes to the East, I think you have a lot. I won't say stronger teams. I'll say that they'll be more competitive. The Knicks this year will be far more competitive and be able to put some things together. I'm going to look to see what the Pistons. I know they're young, but they're going to have a really fast style of ball.
They're young, but they are not ready, sir. They are young, but they're not ready.
Yeah,
the Knicks aren't going anywhere. The Nets are going to be trash. The Pelicans are going to be really good if Zion can stay healthy. I'm going to tell you this right now. If Zion stays healthy, he will be at the very top for MVP this year. Because he is that much of a force in the NBA. We really haven't seen somebody like this guy. And God help him if he ever develops a jump shot.
Yeah, God help the league if he develops a jump shot. It's going to be really bad. And I mean, you've got a lot of teams now. I'm not really sure what Atlanta's going to do. I'm not a big fan of the Atlanta, but I do know what the tanking teams are going to do. To get the real unicorn, and I'll put it out there, and I'll say it. So Jay, you don't have to say it. The best NBA prospect, probably of all time, is getting ready to come in this next class. Of all time.
Yeah, he's something special. This guy is.
Yeah,
but
the question
is, can he hold up in an NBA type of situation?
Right.
Can he hold up when day in and day out pressure comes? Can he hold up when somebody's out on him on a regular basis? Can he hold up? Can he get stronger to play in the league? Because you already saw what happened to kid. What was his name? The big tall kid.
Chet Holmgren. Yeah.
Yeah, Chet with the foot. So Sam Bowies of the world and all these type of people. It don't take much for one of their feet to give up on you, and then you sitting down for a while. So we'll see if this guy can hold up. Hopefully, he stays in the league long enough where he'll be able to sign some big checks. He's a nice kid and everything else like that, but you're waiting to see because these NBA guys, they're just going to get up underneath him. You know that if he puts the ball on the floor, it's going to be cookies. Unless we got to see how is this handle Kevin Durant's handle. We got to see. You know, he's going to have to play with that type of intensity, though.
Can you imagine that Oklahoma City, they're going to get a redshirt year out of Chet. But can you imagine them being bad enough where they get Wembanyama and Chet and have some other pieces around them and like 400 picks? Can you imagine what this OKC team in like 5 years would be?
Yeah, I mean, I like Chet, man. I think Chet's going to be a ball player
Mm-hmm.
in the league. I just think he's got that swagger, and he can shoot it. And hopefully, this kid here, he can shoot it too. You know, in the NBA, but we'll wait and see. You know how it is. You know, everybody, all these can't miss guys come in, and somehow way they figure out to miss. There's been very few of those can't miss guys who've been able to get in. LeBron is probably really the only truly can't miss guy. Even Kobe wasn't a can't miss guy.
Right.
You know,
right.
Kobe signed. Nobody was really screaming about Kobe was going to be the next Mike.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he worked himself to be the next Mike. We all knew who LeBron was.
Right.
You know, and there wasn't, there was no doubt that LeBron was the truth. We knew that. But
the funny part is, I think the only one I can think of outside of, because nobody, as you said, nobody knew about Jordan. The only other, you didn't even really know what David Robinson and
none of those guys,
Tim Duncan's,
Giannis, none of those. You didn't know any of those guys. You didn't know.
There was only one. I think in that one. Well, there were two. Yes, you did. There were two. Derrick Rose, and I might be the homer, and AI. I think those were the two that you knew, regardless of how this was going to roll out, especially with AI. You knew it was going to be something special. You didn't know what.
Yeah, but the problem was that they're these little guards.
Right.
They weren't going to be these dominant forces. You're talking about Nwamba, I think that's what his name is. You're talking about this being an all-time great. You know, he's never set a foot yet really on the NBA court. Mm-hmm. So we're waiting to see what he's going to be.
Yeah, well, he's going to be he's going to be great. He's going to be amazing. But is he going to surpass the greatness of that we know of as the green shoe monster, which is Patrick Williams of the Chicago Bulls? The one who, we can't even figure out if he's going to start in the season.
If he's not a clear starter, they blew that pick.
True.
And I said that first night.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not a clear starter right now, if you pencil him in all 82 unless you're injury, he's not a clear starter. They wasted that pick.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. I'll say that, and you were right about that. You called it before the season started. That year he was picked, what was that, 2-3 years ago? And you're saying it now. You're still at that same position. But let me ask you this. So it leaks out through LeVar Ball that Lonzo Ball had some nerve damage in and some floating particles in around that knee that was causing pain. Jay, I can't see the Bulls making any headway in the East if they don't have Lonzo Ball. It's going to be hard enough for the Bulls without Lonzo. But, I mean, with him, it's a lot of bull. But
you called it right. He's Lonzo Ball. He need to be running point for the Bulls, and now they don't have a point guard. Mm-hmm. And I hope Lonzo can get back. I just don't know if he can, but hopefully they get that nerve thing figured out. Maybe, once you get the nerve thing figured out, everything else goes back working right. So hopefully he can get back. So
yeah, I don't know. How's this Io thing gonna work at point? I think he's a good off guard, but I don't see Io as a point. Now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can tell me.
Io's that guy who's in by attrition. He just because he wouldn't have been starting. They wouldn't even be talking about him if you could have got Ball back, but now they're stuck.
Yeah,
paid all that money to Zach.
Yeah, you did. You paid a lot of money to Zach, and if we just had like 15 fantasy drafts, and big shout out to everybody on our fantasy teams who were in our fantasy drafts. A lot of fantasy drafting going on, a lot of head to head. We got a lot of rotisserie leagues. We got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of players. But somebody, Jay, I always had in my lineups for fantasy was Zach LaVine. This year, not so much. I mean, you had DeRozan and Zach LaVine who were like 1A and 1B. So if you pick one, you're definitely not going to get the other unless you had the last picks. You just took both of them at the end of the round. But is it going to be any better for Zach LaVine this year than what I know he was injured last year? But I think we see what we have with Zach LaVine as we being the NBA. Can he take his game a step higher without all of the other pieces? Can Zach do something that elevates this team beyond that's commensurate to his salary?
Well, the issue is this: that Zach's going to score. He's going to get his points, but you don't have enough around him to make any difference. Mm-hmm. It's not enough. I mean, LeBron should have showed you that already. It's not enough for one guy to be able to score all the points. You can't score 60 points a night. So somebody's got to pick up that other side. You know, is DeMar DeRozan going to be able to play like he's been playing? You know, and then who's their third best player on that team? As I say in football and as I say in basketball, you're only good as your third best player.
Yeah, really good option. And you said that last week, last episode, and I thought about it. And I kept thinking about it, and I was like, wow, the receiving core for the Bears. You're only as good as your third receiver. However good your third receiver is on your team, that's how good you are. And then that's when I realized the Bears were horrific. And then it was a nightmare. It was a night. I was like, this is a nightmare, sir. But, okay, so on the Bulls, let's see. Who are their three best players? You've got DeMar DeRozan. You've got Zach LaVine. And their third best player has to be Vooch. If Vooch is back from whatever happened.
Does Vooch do it for you?
He doesn't do anything for me. And I'm hoping he tries not to do anything for me. But I'm just saying, I don't think that Vooch, I don't see him as now, granted, he's a double-double machine. If he's back to his standards from 2 years ago, yeah, but he was getting all of that.
Here's the problem with double-double. Here's the problem with all these stat guys now, okay? Mm-hmm. To win in the NBA, you got to score over 120 points now.
Right.
So them low double-doubles don't mean nothing anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right about that because he was a killer in Orlando with no one around him.
See, the double-double.
It's just you.
The double-double makes a big difference when you're only scoring 85 points to win a basketball game. Mm-hmm. You know, that stat is out the window now. It doesn't make a difference. Are you scoring 30 points a game? That's the stat now. Mm-hmm. You need to be scoring 30 points a game. That 15, 18 points a game and 10 rebounds, that 18 points ain't going to cut it. That 18 points need to be 28 and 10. Now you're talking about something. But these 18 points and stuff like that, double guys and all that, who cares?
Out the window.
Because you have to score 120 points to win in the NBA now. You know, you got to score almost 35 more points now to assure win in the NBA than you had to do 15 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a big one. So now we've got that out. So, Jay, you got to give your early sizzle prediction. Who do we see in the NBA Finals when it comes down to it this summer? Who's going to be there trying to fight for the Larry O'Brien Trophy?
Warriors, Milwaukee, and it's going to be Warriors 4 games to 1. The Warriors, if they stay healthy, they're going to just whip people's behinds all year.
Does it ever stop? Does it ever end? Did the rich just ever stop getting richer? Do they ever just stop?
The scary part about the Warriors is they got Wiseman back.
Yeah.
And now you got Wiggins actually playing like an MVP player, like a lottery pick. Right. That's scary right there.
Yeah.
And now you got Jordan Poole, Curry Light out there now. Now you got somebody coming lighting it up for you. He's going to shoot the long ball too, and you can handle the rock. and he can take a smack upside the head pretty good too.
Okay, that's it. That's it. I can't do it with you. But I got one question for you though,
Yeah.
real quick. Um, since we're talking about people getting slapped upside the head, and it makes a big point. Right now, American teachers are taking an oops upside the head each time they walk into a classroom. And so my neophyte educator, look, man, even in our area, in the region, we had a teacher actually make a hit list on students, administration, and probably some parents and janitors who did not do their job. And one of her things was she told a fifth grade student, "You are on the list, but you're a good student. So I'm going to put you down on the list. You won't be one who's coming." And it's so much trauma because everything's happening to teachers. And by the way, I had a lot of trauma in high school. Jay, there's a teacher hit list out here. Are teachers under assault in America?
It's tough to teach in this type of environment a lot, especially some of these areas. Just tough to teach. You don't really have as much buy-in from the parents until after something happens. I'm gonna get real old school. Back in my day, you were terrified if the teacher was going to call home.
Right.
You were terrified about missing class. Now, kids just miss class because they don't feel like going now. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, that seems to be the new thing.
Yeah, so it's just it's a difficult environment for teachers, and mental health is a real problem out here. The teachers are a lot of pressure, and so are the kids. So, you just hope that thank God that she didn't carry out on that. But then, mental health is something that needs to be definitely looked into with teachers because a lot of it is dealing with the mental stress day in and day out,
right.
Especially when you're teaching in an urban environment and you have kids who have not really been taught how to learn. So it's sort of difficult. So, but there's no reason for that. You can't threaten the kids, and she, whatever punishment she has coming to her, you can't do what she did. You just can't threaten kids in any way, shape, or form, any type of way. If that was the case, she should have. There's counselors available that she could have went and talked to instead of writing a list. And what did she think was going to happen? She's going to tell the little fifth grader that you're on my kill list. It's like she definitely was not smart as a fifth grader. I'll tell you that.
I see what you did there. That was hilarious. And it's not funny. So I no hate mail. No, Jesus, you're a terrible human being. You're a horrible person. No, that was funny. I saw what he did there. But the reality is you've got teachers now who are being assaulted by students. I think we've shared more student fight videos. And these haven't been just ones from different areas. We're talking about these videos now are from kids who are in our area, who are in our region. You have children who are doing these mass group fights, and teachers are being assaulted at a record pace. At the same pace, you have officers who are retiring. You have people who are leaving not only the education field, but law enforcement. And it's really a new dynamic that, as you said earlier, we were too afraid to even, we never would have breached that fourth wall of foolishness. We never went past, like our foolishness was pretty much contained to us. It was our foolishness. You slap somebody upside the head, somebody got slapped upside the head. What I really worried about on a daily basis when I was in school was when I got to the cafeteria, would they have enough of the peanut butter cookies, the peanut butter cookies that I would be able to get a 2-pack and they would be still warm? That was my biggest concern.
Mine was the warm chocolate chip cookies. Those were fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to have the little round crusty pizzas that were fabulous. That was two of those ago, 2 chocolate chip cookies and a chocolate milk, and life was good.
Oh yeah, but I love the square pizza, and actually that was my favorite pizza to this day. You can give me a high-end pizza now, but if it's not a square school pizza, I don't have that same romanticism. I don't get that same flavor in my mouth.
I don't know what they do to that school pizza, but it's always been pretty good.
It was always fire. It was always fire. But I tell you what else is going to be fire. The Sizzle moving to the radio, the Sizzle being out here, giving everybody what they want. We're coming back, baby. Oh, you're going to see us in all of our glory.
It's on cracking.
Man, Saturdays are not going to be the same. More is going to come out. You're going to hear a lot of what we're doing. It's going to be fresh. It's going to be fire. And listen, man, we're also going to do a viewing party together for the Bears Monday Night Football, because we may not get a lot of these. So we're going to take the opportunity that we can. You come out, kick it with your boys. Follow us on social media. Make sure that you're following the links. We're going to put it in and tell you how to come out. And we're going to do a live recording. So we're just going to sit there and really chop it up about what happened in the game, how it went down, and just have a good time with the Sizzle, man. The Sizzle brothers are back. I'm telling you, baby, this is how it started. This is how it's going to be. You know what we do. You know how we do it. He's Jay Sizzle. I'm G Sizzle. And you know what? We're the Sizzle, and we're going to see you, my friend, on the other side.